Hello, my name is Robert Campbell, and I'm here in an Orange County courtroom to talk about the different people that participate in the judicial process. The first person we're going to talk about is the judge, who sits right there. Now, the judge is the overseer of the courtroom. They are responsible for making the legal decisions, making sure that both the defense and the prosecutors are playing by the rules, and then make any decisions as far as motions, objections, and again, making sure that everybody stays within the bounds of the law. Then we have the clerk of the courts, who's in charge of maintaining the facts, documenting them, as well as scheduling. As I rotate this way, we're going to talk about the different attorneys involved in this case. Over here, we have the prosecutors who are in charge of bringing the case against a defendant. The prosecutor has to convince a jury that the defendant broke the law, committed the crime that they are charged with beyond a reasonable doubt. They are the ones bringing the case to the court on behalf of the victim. Now, the victim is important because without a victim, there cannot be a crime. So the victim has to experience some sort of criminal act against them, be willing to press charges, and then be able to come here to a courtroom and testify as to the fact that a law violation was committed against them. They work with the prosecutor in order to bring their case in front of a jury so that it can be heard and they can make a sound decision. On this side of the aisle sits the accused. The accused is the person that the victim is saying broke the law against them. They're the ones that have to bring their defense in front of the courtroom to be considered. Now, in America, the accused is always innocent until proven guilty, so they don't have to participate in their trial at all. However, they're going to work with their defense attorney that is going to do all the legal arguments on their behalf. Now, the defense attorney's job is to bring some sort of reasonable doubt in the minds of the jury in order for the jury to vote their direction of finding his client not guilty. The defense is going to raise objections, file motions, as far as making sure that the state witnesses stayed within the law and that the judge is able to make proper decisions based on prior court cases, case law, and statutory limitations that are set into place. Now, that's the criminal side of the courtroom. For the civil side, these two tables are used by people that are called different things. On this side is going to be the plaintiff. The plaintiff is the one that's bringing a case against the respondent that says the respondent committed some sort of civil tort against them, and they have to be harmed either financially or physically in order to bring the case in front of the court or for the jury to decide. They're going to bring their witnesses, they're going to bring their evidence to the courtroom to show how they were affected by the respondent's actions. Now, the respondent is going to sit on this side of the courtroom, and they're the ones who's going to have to defend themselves as far as whether or not they actually committed that civil tort against the plaintiff. They have to bring their witnesses and their evidence to the courtroom and be able to convince the jury that they are not responsible for the injury caused to the plaintiff. Now, the burden of proof in the civil courtroom is different than in the criminal courtroom. All they have to do is get that 51% in the jury's mind in order to get the guilty or not guilty, so to speak, verdict in this type of case. Now, if I continue to rotate this way, in this box sits the members of the jury. Now, the jury's responsibility is to listen to the case, follow the rules as set to them by the judge and the prosecutor and the defense attorney, and then make a decision based on all the facts that were provided to them during the trial to make a decision. They have to be sequestered, which means that they can't get outside influence about the case. They can only talk to each other. And then again, they have to come up with a consensus of whether or not the suspect or the accused violated the law or whether or not the plaintiff's civil motion is justified. Rotating this way, we're going to talk about this box right here. This is where the witnesses sit during the trial process. They will come here, what we call taking the stand. They'll raise their hand, they'll swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and then they'll provide the facts that they know about the case for everyone to hear. Now, they are limited to things that they actually know, what they witnessed, what they heard, but they're going to be limited to things such as hearsay because they can't talk about things that are beyond what they physically heard themselves. And finally, we're going to talk about the police. Now, police play two different roles in the court process. You have the courtroom deputies who maintain the security of the courtroom. They make sure that everybody maintains quorum. They work on behalf of the judge, and they have to take people into custody as necessary if the person is found guilty of a crime and sentenced to jail, or if there's a warrant. And then the other side of the police is someone like me who is a patrol officer. Now, for a criminal case to come to the court, a law enforcement officer has to be involved. They have to take the report and ultimately either file charges with the state attorney's office, write a warrant, or arrest the accused for the law violation. They will act as a state witness and sit here and take the stand and testify to the facts of the case as to why they established probable cause in order to believe that the accused broke the law. And then finally, we're going to talk about those who can observe the trial and have no participation at all, and they will be sitting in the back of the room. They're allowed to, because courtrooms are open to the public, they can come in, they can sit down and watch the cases. However, they have no participation in the case at all. They are to sit in the back, maintain quiet, and just listen to everything that goes on. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you're able to learn something about those who participate in the court process.